Hey guys, we're getting ready. Welcome. We still have a few minutes, so but if you can hear me, that'd be a good one. If you can hear me, could you please say you can hear me and I guess see me? I think for sure you can see me, but can you hear me well? Please let me know in the chat. I think in the chat you need to have a YouTube account or something. If you can't chat, that's because maybe you need to sign into YouTube. Most of you have a YouTube, or it's the same as a Google account. So I'm waiting for somebody to tell me, yes, I can hear you. So I know we can go live in 7 minutes. And feel free to say, say hi, I'm from Germany or London or wherever you're from. And if you have any questions before we start, I'm here. We're just getting ready, getting warmed up. Checking. Hey guys, I just checked in. Please let me know if you can hear me. In the chat, just say I can hear you. So I know we can go in a few minutes. Hey guys, hi Philip. You can hear, that's good. Then I'll assume that everybody can hear. All right, so we're good to go in 5 minutes, 6 minutes. If you have any questions right now, just this is a good time. Once I get started, it's a little hard to follow all the chat. So, I'll try to see, take a look at the chat from time to time, but it can be a little hard. So now is a good time. And I'll leave a little room afterwards too. Once I'm done, I'll take another look and I'll peek a little bit during my presentation itself to see if you have any questions coming up. Excited to have you here. Philip from Germany, I believe, or where are you from, Philip? So we're gonna start sharp, 12:15. So I can hear you loud and clear. That's good. Germany, yes. Okay, I thought maybe you were Germany. Dustin, is it? Dustin Mbari. Is it Dustin? Where are you from, Dustin? Ula from England. Right, okay. So you're Ula. Yeah, there have you. Ula Derin. I have a little handwritten note. I can't even read myself, but it's Ola something from Great Britain. All right, nice to have you. And there's more people in here now, so yeah, if you're just logging in, we're starting on time, 12:15. If you have any questions, anything, Let us know. If you want to be part of the chat, I guess you have to have a YouTube account or Google, any Google account, YouTube. If you log into that, then you can chat, or if you can chat, just chat. Let us know where you're from, or if you have any questions. We have 5 minutes before we start. We can do any 3 minutes before we start, so we can do any questions if you like. I'll try to do more questions during the chat. Of course, I'll be a little. I'll peek and see if I can do some quick, and then after the seminar, sure, I'll stick around and chat with any one of you about any of the subjects that we covered. All right. And we have still a few more people has just logged in, I see. So welcome. We're going to start on time. 12:15. Counting down. I'm going to take away the countdown thingy. Save. All right. It goes away if you refresh, but you don't have to. Just stick it there at 0. It's okay. Anyone just logged in, feel free to chat up and say where you're from. Or if you have any questions, you have a couple more minutes. Somebody just, Marianne just, let me check Marianne got through. She just registered for the webinar right now. I'm just going to make sure she got the correct email. Where's Marianne in my system? Well, let's hope she's good. And yeah, what I want to do is I'm gonna just start this Twitter. Hey everybody, just logging in. We're gonna start on time. Just getting ready. Webinar. All right, so how are we? We are 12:15. We are live. Welcome everybody. Let me just do my last little check here. Yeah, we have Peter and Marianne. Yeah, you're Marianne, not Peter, I'm guessing. You just got in, good. Just so you just registered last. All right, so welcome everybody. Let's start. I'm gonna just give a little shout out to everybody that registered. We have Adam, we have Björn from Poland, we have Biliana from Great Britain, Simina from Romania. Welcome Romania. We have Eddie from Singapore, all the way from Singapore. Hopefully you made it here. We have Edita and Belle from Great Britain. We have Frank from Germany. We have Kiki, Henit, Carl from Germany, Katerina. We have Kaupferkopf, the German snake. I think that's Viper. We have Tomas from Poland. We have Tom from Great Britain. We have Tom from Sweden. We have Sandeep from Baltimore and Ray from California. I hope you're awake in the middle of the, must be in the middle of the night. We have Renate from Austria. She's actually working for HC Solutions, and I held a workshop there, and they're helping me organize another workshop in Austria. So thank you, Renate. We have Philip from Germany. He's been on the chat. We have Pascal from Germany. We have David from Germany. We have Ola also on the chat from Great Britain. We have Mike from Great Britain. We have Matthias from Sweden. We have another Matthias from Germany, and he's already taken one of my workshops with me. So Matthias, if you're here, tell everybody how fantastic that was. And we have Marius from Poland and Christopher from UK. And we had Marianne just logged in the last minute. So so happy to have you all here. That's really, really great. Now, I just started this on Twitter. I'm not sure how it's going to work. If you're on Twitter, that would be the place to go to actually see the slides and really follow the webinar properly. All right. Now, I will try to take a look at the chat from time to time. So if you have any questions, go ahead and just let me know. And in little breaks, I'll peek and see if we can answer some of the questions. And I will also stay after the webinar, you know, to follow up any questions that you guys might have. So welcome, value first. Now what we're going to talk about is the secret of how our customers deliver every project on time, under budget, and to high quality, and that without increasing their workload. So I put the bar really, really high here. I mean, it's really challenging with projects to succeed because there's so many unknowns, so much technology, people, communication, tough deadlines. We don't get enough resources. Expectations are high from the customers. How do you succeed in all this, right? It's really, really challenging. So, but you might have been concerned that you can't, like it's impossible to succeed, really. You know, you looked at what people have to offer and you try out your best and it's just not possible to succeed. Well, I'm here to tell you it is possible. People are doing it consistently, and we're going to look at what they do different. Now, there are lots of people selling various versions of Agile and other project, not just Agile, but other project management methods, and they're selling them as, you know, if you just follow these methods, you'll succeed. I'm here to tell you that they're wrong. They might have their own reasons for wanting you to believe that, but all numbers, all statistics, all reports show that people are struggling. If they're using one technique or another, they're struggling to succeed in project management. So here's one such report. The Standish Group, they publish what they call the Chaos Report, and they survey you know, thousands and thousands of projects, and they look at how well did they do. And you know, if you look here at the, for instance, the Agile, it says Agile are 3 times more likely to succeed than Waterfall. That sounds great, right? 3 times more likely to succeed, but take a look at the numbers. 39% on average version vs 11%. I mean, when the failure rate is so high, then yeah, I don't know what to say. So that for Agile, the average failure rate is 61%. For large projects, if you have any large, maybe complex, it doesn't really say, it says large, the failure rate is 61% for Agile. I mean, if this, the large, 82%, I blinked here. The failure rate is 82% for large projects for Agile, 82%. If this was a success rate, if you succeeded 82% of the time, it would be pretty sad, right? But it's not. It's a, you know, it's a failure rate. And even for small projects, small, tiny projects, the failure rate is as high as 42%. Are you kidding me? I mean, you would think Agile would be perfect for organizing little teams and getting small things done. But even that is so complex, so hard, so difficult that 42% fail. And I'm not bashing Agile as such. I am bashing Agile, but I'm bashing Waterfall even more because they fail they have even a higher failure rate, right? So that's the starting point. I mean, that's where the industry is, struggling. It's challenging. It's difficult. I'm taking a little look at the notes. I don't see any particular questions there. Okay, so if you thought that these people pushing these methodologies have dumbed them down so that they're really easy to sell, I think you're probably right? And now, if you thought that they push these dumbed down methods as if they can make you succeed in project development just by following them, come on, what is the reality? The reality is that methods themselves will not make you succeed in your projects, right? They can support you with, knowledge, insights, decision making, but you have to be the decision maker. You have to be knowledgeable. You have to have the technology, the experience, the great people, and the methods should be there to help you in smart decisions, smart thinking. So what is it we need? Well, I'm guessing since you came to this webinar, you all really want to learn how to succeed in projects. Have ecstatic customers that say, "Wow, I really love that last product or release or service that you developed." Now, who wants to make that happen, right? Who wants to be part of a team that succeeds, or you're actually driving your team to succeed? Anyone? Anyone on the chat? Hi Frank, hi Matthias, hi Peter. Hello Tomac. Any one of you want to be part of succeeding, or are you okay just sort of flipping around, sort of developing some products? You want to succeed? Sure you want to succeed, right? Okay. So my goal for this presentation is to show you how you can become an expert in succeeding in your projects. Now, one of the main things we need to do is defining success for our customers, quantified, right? So we're going to get into this. What does this mean, right? But we have customers, we have actually stakeholders. Customer is way too narrow. The real word here is stakeholders, and we need to quantify their values, what they see as success, and then we have to go get it. All right. Now we're going to go dive into this. Now this is, I don't know who all of you are, but this is for project managers. This presentation is for product owners, engineers, software developers, architects, chief technical officers. It sounds like everybody, but it's not for everybody. It is for anybody that care about succeeding in projects. So let's say you are a software developer and you really just care about your code. And then if the project fails or succeed, let's say it fails, you're going to get a job with another project anyway, right? You just get moved over to the next project. You don't really care. Then maybe this presentation is not for you. Maybe you better, use your time elsewhere. But if you are the kind of software developer that really wants to succeed, like a lot of you are doing Agile, do you want to be? I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, the goal is to be agile." How agile is your organization? That's not the goal. The goal is to succeed in delivering value to your stakeholders. Agile is a potential means. So what do you want? Do you want to be agile, or do you want to succeed? Let's say you couldn't be agile, but you would succeed widely. Would that be okay? Or let's say the other way, you can be agile, the whole organization, super agile, but you'll fail, right? What do you want? Obviously, you want to succeed, right? All right. Now, what I want to do is, let's take a quick look. I'm going to, just excuse me a moment. I'm going to flip here. I expect you're seeing Tesla's website right now. So let's look at their website. This is a front page. You can't scroll anything. Now, what does it say? It says the longest range, active safety, quickest production car on Earth, right? And soon on Mars, maybe. So now, notice what is a little bit unique with Tesla, it's not that unique anymore, but it's quite unique. What's special with the car is that it's electric, but it doesn't say come buy an electric car. It says longest range, active safety, quickest production car on earth. Value, value, value. Right? Now let's scroll a little. Let's say Model X. What does that say? Sorry, I actually wanted, why did it jump out? I wanted Canada English. That helps me a little bit. All right, Model X. Meet Model X. It's a little small letter, doesn't really matter, but it says it's the safest, quickest, most capable sport utility vehicle in history. All right, let's look at the Model S. What does it say? I'm going to let you know what this means for you. Why am I talking about this, right? Performance and safety refined. Model 3. I'm on the wait list for Model 3. Are some of you on the wait list to get one? Designed to attain the highest safety rating. This doesn't say it's electric and the battery and the technology. It says highest safety rating in every category and the range. And then, of course, the car that you all want secretly, the Roadster. Now, the quickest car in the world. Does that include Mars? I guess so. With record-setting acceleration, range, and performance. And then 0 to 100 in 2.1 seconds. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.1 seconds. Top speed of plus 400 kilometers an hour. And the range between charging 1,000 kilometers. Now, what does this have to do with you? You might wonder. All right, let's go back to my little slide set here. I'm going to make the slides a little bigger and me a little smaller. Is that good? And I'm sorry for that. I'm going to go. That's better. All right. So what does that have to do with you? Well, in Norway, we also had an electric car. And it was called the Think. And it was advertised as 100% electric. This is like, you know, here's the point. Nobody wants an electric car. So what happened to Think? They went bankrupt. Americans are good at, well, they're good at many things. My California and Baltimore friends, they're good at many things. But one thing they're sort of known to be good at is sales. And they've figured out one thing. Your stakeholders don't want your technology. They want the values, right? Tesla is all about the values. The value, you know, safety, performance, environmentally friendly, sexy as hell, right? That's what they're about. Now, if you think that shipping code or working software is of any particular value to anybody, you're wrong, okay? I'm here to tell you, nobody wants your code. Shipping code is not the same as delivering value, okay? Nobody wants your product. Nobody wants your services. What do they want? If they're interested in your product, in your code, they're interested in the value that that gives them. How much better lives will they have? How much better will they perform at their job if they use your products? Right? That's it. So if you want to learn how to succeed in product development, you have to figure out how to deal with the value, not chicken out and have some kind of idea that shipping code, you know, working software is some kind of value. That will lead you to failure. And before we go on, if some of you are on Twitter, and you want to see the slides and the background and not just the video feed, you need to go to this URL and join the live webcast with all the details. All right, so yeah, so this is, you know, get this, if nothing else, just get this. Nobody wants your code. You have to understand this. You know, so, and then you have to understand, well, what do they really want? And how do I master that part? How do I master the other part? The value part. All right, so let's take a look at that. Now, to succeed, this is my claim here, to succeed, the number one skill that you have to master in project development is to learn and capture what the customer sees as success, their success values. Now, these success values, they vary, all of them, okay? They're always a variable. So if you look at Tesla, they didn't just say the quickest car in the world. They said 0 to 100 kilometers in, 2.1 seconds, right? They quantified all their values because there's more or less of them. It didn't just happen to make a car that went 2.1 seconds. That was targeted. That was, they worked extremely hard to make that happen. It's not by accident. You don't create great values by accident, all right? You need to understand where you are. You need to understand where you want to go. You need to quantify this difference. And then you need to do everything you can to make that happen, to create that value. So somehow this is not what people teach. They have user stories. They have functions and features, and I don't know how people can keep having focus on other thing than this value. And definitely, how do you quantify that? Everybody says value, right? We're going to create valuable stuff, but how do you quantify it? How do you get every engineer, every software developer, every architect, every management towards focus, having this value focus and deliver, and quantitatively get better and better and better and deliver more and more value. Somehow people don't teach that. We seem to be almost the only one, but I hope there are more. Now, a little bit background. I am an apprentice of my father, Tom Gilb. I'm the author of Evo. I've been working all around the world, a lot in huge corporations, like at Intel, for instance. Over 20,000 people have learned these techniques from us through other teachers, right? So we've trained the inside teachers at Intel, and then they have trained on to over 20,000 people at Intel. So, that's what I've been doing mostly. Now, I started working with my father. Sorry. Let's jump even further back. My father, Tom, here he is. It's me and my father. Now, he started way back in the with IBM in the late 50s. And he loved to learn everything about the systems that came in and become the expert. And so he was studying, he was reading the manual, he was working with the system, and he became the expert at these computer systems, the OSs, the everything that came in. And then he would teach everybody. But then what happened was the next year a new system came in. And then another operating system, another programming language, and another. So these kept changing. So it's really hard work to stay at the top of the game there. Always some younger people coming in and just becoming better at the newer technology. But then one day he was in Berkeley with his sister, Wendy, Berkeley, California. And she showed him a book and said, Tom, look, this book here, they used to teach engineering at the Berkeley University to the engineering students. And he took a look at the book, and he was shocked to find, it was 100 years old. And he's like, what do you mean they used to, or what do you mean? No, currently they were using this 100-year-old book on teaching engineering. And he got really intrigued. He started reading the book, and he found that, wow, these methods, techniques, and principles in the book that was valid 100 years ago when they were making steam engine technology was valid today, and probably would be valid another 100 years from now. And he started his quest. He was like, wow. He started his quest to become the expert in those things in project management that are just the latest fad that go out, like the one thing come in and then everybody tries to learn that, and then they figure out it doesn't really work and they try something else. Try to find the solid principles and techniques that really are powerful in project management. So he started his quest there, and then then when I was 17 years old, I went to my first class with him, and everybody was learning, you know, they were planning how to succeed in their IT projects. And I was not an IT guy, and I actually wanted to go I wanted to be a professional windsurfer. So I planned how to become a professional windsurfer. So I set up my goals and quantified them, and then followed up with actions, and then I actually followed through. So that took me to Hawaii. This is me windsurfing in Hawaii, I lived there for a few years, you know, just windsurfing, but then I got a girlfriend at the time, and she was heading off a little environmental organization. It was called Bridge the Gap, and she was called Allison. And I looked at how they were doing things, and I realized, wow, they have no clue on how to plan success in their projects compared to what I learned from my father. So I decided to learn more from my father, to become his apprentice and learn how to succeed in projects, and then roll this out to environmental organizations and corporate organizations. So we did. So then we've been working. I'll have my father back. Oops, my father back here. Okay, so we've been working, you know, in the corporate, but not so much reaching the smaller projects. You know, it's more like we get hired by Ericsson, and we keep going into Ericsson with their base stations, and they're doing hardware and software. Actually, we were working, I remember, you know, some 20 years back, we were working with Ericsson. This is before Agile was a thing. And we're saying, okay, you need to break your projects into cycles, weekly cycles. They were doing like 3-year cycles. And we were like, no, weekly cycles. And they're like, are you kidding? And we had this fight with them, you know, not with some of the engineers, but the methods people. It was called the props. We called them the props mafia. And they were trying to push this waterfall method on people that, you know, where everything took, well, 3 years. And we're like, no, you need to do weekly cycles, and the weekly cycle has to be of value. This is key. So in Agile today, weekly cycles are not Agile. They're pushing code, shipping, you know, working software kind of thing, not real value. So all way back then. But what we didn't succeed in so much is convince the whole world that this is the way to do things. And this has been my quest. I really want to empower everybody now to succeed in their projects. And it's been a struggle to make people understand how simple and effective these techniques are. And you know, the industry as a whole, they've been marching sort of to their own drums, where they talk about functions and features, and of course getting rid of the waterfall has been a great relief for many people. So that's been a big step forward. But they still haven't had this engineering mindset of creating value systematically, and this is a missing piece. You have to focus on the value. And it's been a struggle because everybody is going in one direction and we've been going in a different direction. We've been succeeding, they've been failing, but still that doesn't mean, but it's moving now, it's moving. We have more and more people waking up and saying, wow, you can really do this, you can succeed in this way. It's really, really powerful. So that's a little bit of the background. We're now at a point where people are succeeding, the community is growing, people are coming to the workshops, learning how to succeed, and really kicking butt, really kicking butt in project management. So what we need to do is we need to define success well, and then once we have that in place, once we have defined the success quantitatively, of our stakeholders, not users, stakeholders, then we need to lead all all decisions, all actions, all efforts towards creating the defined success. Now, I found this little video on the internet, and I really like it. I don't know if you can see, it's a bunch of ants pulling the caterpillar. Now notice how they're all pulling together in the same direction. Now if you can make that happen in your project, and that's not what I see when I go around. If you can get everybody pulling in the same direction, then you get a really powerful thing happening. That's what you need to be able to get success in your project. Now, to make people pull in the same direction, you must have clear goals. They have to know exactly where to pull. And this is not what's happening. People are pulling the project in different directions because they use vague, unclear goals. The goals have to be crystal clear. Everybody pulling in the same direction. You know, I was watching some football yesterday. I don't know if anyone watched football. I was watching the what is it called? The championship. And you know, it's very clear. Everybody on the team knows exactly what the goal is, and they systematically optimize every effort, every position, to get the ball into the goal of the opponent and make sure that nobody scores in your own goal. Right? That's what we need also in project management. It is possible. So let me, can't see the whole slide. Oh, I'm in front again. How did that happen? Okay, let's see. No, I'm not. I want you to see the whole slide. Hold on. Let me get the whole. Let me just go first to the whole slide. Now better. You can't see me. I'm just clicking a little back and forth, making sure you can see the whole slide, everybody. Thanks. See, sadly, I'm not on the Model 3. Yeah. If you learn how to succeed in projects, I'm going to show you what happened to some of these guys that gone to my courses. Like Anders is here's the first one. They can now buy the Model 3 or the S or whatever Tesla they want. Because if you learn to succeed in projects where other people fail, you'll be worth a whole lot to any organizations that have any care. While we have this little break, if you're on the Twitter and you want to see the whole presentation, you know, not just me, then you need to go to this URL and join us. All right. So let's get going again. Meet Anders. Anders, he was working at Western Gecko, and we had a course for them. And I'm just going to tell you what they did and what happened. So basically, they were making oil exploration equipment. So they were making equipment that they drag on land over usually the desert, and they had to lay this huge area full of cables and antennas, you know, huge areas, and then they put in this seismo shock waves, and it bumps into the ground, and hopefully they hit some oil or something, and it keeps bouncing back, and then the antennas will pick up the signals, and they will computers will analyze the data and map out what the soil is like, and if there's gas and if there's oil. So they're making equipment like this, and the highest the downtime was very, very expensive for them. And the highest reason for downtime was that they were driving these trucks. They had these Hummers. They were driving around, and it's like lots of cables everywhere. So they had to just drive over the cables. And from time to time, the cable would break. And when it broke, the system went down. They had to identify where it was broken, fix the cable. It took a lot of time, and it was extremely expensive. So Anders and the team, they set out to make an improved cable. Now, what they did was, you know, people have been making cables a long time, much longer than software. And so they're good at it. So they've already been making really good cables. And in the desert, it gets really hot and then really cold at night. And yeah, so they've been working on making these cables. But Anders and the team, after the class, they quantified some of the key values. So one of them was what they called Hummer robustness. And what it was they actually built a lab, and with a temperature area where they could control the temperature, and they laid the cable down on some sand, and they had a Hummer wheel driving back and forth over the cable repeatedly. And they did that with a standard cable that everybody was using, and they got some number, let's say it was 10 times. It could drive over the cable 10 times and then it would break. And then they said, okay, let's make it 100 times. Now, so now the goal is clear. Everybody on the team knew exactly what it was. So let's say somebody had an idea for a design idea for some material, for some structure. They'd be allowed to try it out. But it wasn't like because he said so, we'll do it. It was not like one option. So they kept throwing different solutions at the cable, trying out different variations, different theories, driving over the cable, and they systematically improved the cable. So, you know, became indestructible, right? So now what happened was, now they had a cable with a quantitative value that was far superior to any other cable. So what happened was, he told me the first order they got was 1 million meters. You know, and then of course who would want the other cable, right? Now, you need to contrast this with sorting some user stories, right? And this also, I'm doing this on purpose, showing you first on something not even software. It's like a cable, right? And but this works for software, for hardware, for systems, for people. It's the same thing, exact same thing you need to do. User stories is not going to do it. Functions, features, technical solutions is not going to do it as a requirement. You have to quantify the key values of your stakeholders and know where you are, know where you want to go, and do anything and everything like the ants, everybody pulling in the same direction. All right, so I'm going to tell you 3 secrets to making this happen on this this webinar. So secret number 1, I'm going to tell you how to wow your customers with early results, even on straightforward projects. I'm going to tell you how to quantify any value in less than 5 minutes. People are saying, oh, it's so difficult to quantify. Well, it takes 5 minutes, any value. I'm going to tell you how to minimize your workload dramatically by the secret. Who wants to learn how to minimize your workload dramatically, right? You like the cable story. Thank you, Matthias. Now, it's not just a story. It's a real case with a real people, a real cable, and it's in the market now, right? So it's a story, but it's a real one. Okay, so how to wow your customers with early results, even on straightforward projects. Meet Jens. He was working for a company called Avenir, and Avenir was given the job from Microsoft to install a CRM, that's a customer relationship management system, into a big telecom organization, right? So a big telecom organization had bought the CRM from Microsoft. Jens got the job through his company, Avenir, to roll that out at the telephone company, to install it. Now, Jens is a student of ours. He's done many projects and succeeded wildly, and this is just one of them. So he's like a master of these techniques. Now, so he knows one thing. Your customers don't want an electric car. They don't want the CRM system, right? So what do they want? So to figure that out, because the job description was telling them install this electric car, the CRM system, he said, no, they don't want an electric car. What do they want? So he went knocking on some doors, and he ended up at this chief technical officer, and he said, hey, forget CRM, forget the electrical car. What do you want to achieve, right? Forget CRM altogether. What do you want to achieve? This is a question you have to ask yourself. You can ask with your system, what do they want to achieve? Or even without your system, what do they want to achieve? Now, it wasn't like the boss just said, oh, I want, and then came out with it. He had to ask again and again. The boss would say, well, I want the CRM to help people communicate. No. Forget the CRM. What is it he asked? You know, there's in Japan there's a method they call the 5 whys. You have to ask why. You go up higher until you get to the real level. So in this case, now notice in Anders' case, the cable, it was a value, right, of robustness or reliability of the cable. But here, in this case, it turned out to be a very quantitative money number. But I don't want you to feel that when I'm talking about value, I'm always talking about money, because that's what most people do. They know how to quantify money, so they think all values are money. Not at all. You need to understand how to do this with reliability, user-friendliness, performance, any value that's in your domain. All right. So in this case, they were losing 9.3 million euro every year repeatedly on contracts they had that expired, and they didn't even know it before they did the accounting at the end of the year. They say, yeah, this year it was 9.3. Next year it was, 9.2 million euro. And they hadn't done anything about it. And now Jens said, wow, okay, so you have expiring contracts. They're in a database. They have a date. I have a CRM system that I'm asked to install. So what he did was he put in just a focus on the CRM system that sucked out the data, the date of the contracts, and made a little warning signal 2 months before expiration date. Send this contract to the correct marketing people so they could follow up the customer and renew the contract, right? So, because he had shifted the focus, it didn't just roll out some CRM system. He shifted the focus to the value. Then he figured, I can do this in short time. He had like a scrum team in the background. So they had a sprint of 2 weeks, and that's what they did that sprint. They got that in place. Now, this is a huge deal. Most people would do all kinds of things to roll out the CRM system, but they wouldn't have found this. They wouldn't have knocked on the right doors. They wouldn't have asked and asked and asked until they got the right quantitative value. So they checked this afterwards. We checked it, long after it worked. They were saving all this money. Now what happened was Jens, he got treated like a hero at this telephone company. So he could have just gone home. He would still be a hero, but he said, okay, let's keep rolling out the CRM system. But let's do it in the same way. Who are the other stakeholders and what values do they want? And let's create those values for them, right? And he got now open doors and open ears, and because they knew he would do the right thing for them. Now, this CRM system won an award of the best CRM in the world that year. So Microsoft was really stoked because it was their system. So they treated Jens with a VIP treatment. He actually got free first-class ticket flights from Norway to, this guy Jens is from Norway to Redmond, with free training, free hotel. They just loved Jens. All right. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to like Anders, like Jens, understand that you have to change the picture from the technology to the value. Then you have to quantify the value, and then you have to drop everything else but those things that create those values. Right? If you do that again and again, you will be able to succeed. So that's secret number 1. And there are some thoughts. I'm going to just drop those. Let's slide a little bit. Go to secret number 2. Now, the secret number 2 is how to quantify any value in less than 5 minutes. So how would you quantify any value in less than 5 minutes? Wouldn't that be nice? So we have a set of techniques. I'm gonna highlight one for you right now, so you learn one techniques. But there is a set. But you should be able to. We will also present some courses later in this presentation where you can learn a set of things that you need to do to be able to take any value. Now, if I say performance, most of you can quantify that to some level, right? And obviously time and money, we all know how to quantify. User friendliness, less people. You know, some of you will probably know how to quantify that somewhat, maybe in a poor way, but okay. And then, but if I say like portability, how do you port your system from one platform to another? How do you quantify how portable it is? That, most people would definitely fall off there. They don't know how to quantify it. You should be able to take any quality, any value that that your stakeholders sees as valuable, that your product, your services, you know, that makes it great. You should be able to grab that and quantify in 5 minutes. That's a skill you should have to be able to succeed. Now, so one thing is, one little trick is to understand the difference between quantification and measurements. So this guy, what's his name again? Niklas came up to me the other day and said, Kai, I get you, I understand you, but it's so difficult to measure, and in his case it was usability. It's so difficult to measure usability. And I'm like, Niklas, is it difficult to measure? Or is it difficult to quantify? And he's like, what do you mean? Right? Take him back a little bit. So they're fundamentally different. You need to, so this is just one trick. You need to understand the difference between measurement and quantification of all these different values. And that really helps solve the difference. It makes it not difficult anymore. So, so let's take a look at what is the difference between measurement and quantification. Now, here is some Norwegian dude taking a swim, and this is how we swim in Norway. It's not like in many other places. It's really, really cold, all right? But we go swimming anyway. Now, how do you quantify temperature? Right? How do you quantify temperature? I'm looking for a chat from somebody. And while I'm looking at that, waiting for somebody to chat, if you are on Twitter, what you want to do is, if you want to see the slides and follow properly, you need to go to this webinar room. And then you don't just see me, but you see everything. And I'm not, anyone know how to quantify temperature? I'm still waiting. Come on, guys. It's easy, should be easy. I made it temperature, so it's easy, right? Instead of asking this on portability. How do you quantify temperature? I'll wait. Somebody, come on, it's not dangerous. It's okay to be wrong. Celsius! All right, that wasn't so difficult. All right, thank you. All right, so you can use Celsius or Fahrenheit or Kelvin or something like that. That's how you quantify. Now, how do you measure it? You would use a thermometer. Or you can stick your finger in the water and guess. That's also a way of measuring, right? It's less accurate. So the same thing is true when it comes to user friendliness, portability, reliability. You need to understand how to quantify something and how to measure it. Now, notice quantification has no accuracy. It has, you know, how accurate is Celsius? How accurate is kilometers per hour on a car? It's not accuracy there. The accuracy lays in the measurement. The quantification you use to set targets, to set goals. I want the room temperature to be 21 degrees Celsius. Right? This is a goal. There's no accuracy there. But I can set the target. Now, then I use a thermometer to measure. Here there are inaccuracies. Here there are costs. Here there are credibility. So you need to, so when you set value, when you quantify values to set targets, you measure to understand where you are. This you can do before the project, during the project, after the project, continuously after the, systematically, or if you are always in the project, if there's no beginning and an end, you're just having an ongoing project, then you can have measurements throughout, right? And you need to pick the measurements that are accurate enough and credible enough, but you're not doing science, you're doing product development. So you just want to make sure they're within range, or that you're going in the right direction, that you're moving from where you want to be towards, from where you are towards where you want to be. Okay, so you want to track the motion. With the meters, you're tracking the motion towards your past levels, from your past levels towards your goal levels. So by making this simple distinction, it's a little easier to quantify. I'm not saying everybody can quantify every value now in 5 minutes, but it's a little trick. And if you have a few of these tricks, pretty quickly you can quantify any quality or any value in no time. So now some of you might be thinking that you're not mature enough, like your organization. You are, of course, but your organization is not mature enough to start focusing on value first and quantify. I tell you, you have to. If you are a startup and it's day one, you need to quantify the values. I'm involved in a startup community here as a mentor here in Oslo, and you know, I'm very clear on that. They have to do that from day one. Nobody wants an electric car. Nobody wants their new startup technology idea. They want the values of that technology. So that value has to be clear. What value to what stakeholder, quantified, where are they, where are the competitors, where do we want to be? All right? So, and if you're mature organizations that's grown your habits, good or bad, you need to go there right away, okay? All right. Secret number 3, how to minimize your workload dramatically by learning to write all the requirements on a single page. How do you write? So some people say, oh, this seems like we're agile, we don't really write requirements. Come on. You have to have something, and user stories is not it. If you're spending at 1 page on user stories, you're wasting your time compared to doing 1 page of the top values that everybody in the project will go towards. So in this is a little case, little story. We're working with a big bank. It says Merrill Lynch here. It was not Merrill Lynch. A big bank in London. And they had been working for 12 months only writing requirements. And there were 30 people. So 30 people for 12 months, you know, writing requirements, tens of thousands of pages of requirement. It's madness. So then nobody had read all the requirements, right? Because some people wrote here, you know, every day they're just writing requirements. So nobody had an overview of the whole project. They had lost already, right? The project was lost before it started, spending so much time and money. So Tom and I, we walked in there and say, we came there to help them out as consultants, and we say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to write all the requirements, the tens of thousands of pages, on 1 single page. And they're like, that's not possible. Yes, of course it's possible. Well, let us give it a go. I mean, how long time does it take to write 1 page? Can't take forever. So we spend 1 day to write down all the requirements on 1 single page. And of course, we wrote down the top level values. What was the improvements that at the end of the project, if we got these improvements, if the stakeholders got these improvements in their lives, would be successful, you know, would deem the project successful. And we were talking to the managers, you know, showing it to them and say, here it is. And they looked at it and they're like astounded, you know, there was nothing missing. We asked them, anything missing? If you get these values, so that's the power of understanding how to write values, is it really kills the bureaucracy. You don't need, you know, a backlog with thousands of items anymore. You don't need hundreds and hundreds of solutions written out called requirements or functional requirements, because you get what's critical, what's essential, the values. And then you can do everything and anything to create those values, including, as you go along, writing more documents if you need to. I'm not saying you only have 1 page, but I'm saying you have 1 page to guide and drive the whole project forward. So that's your secret number 3, to dramatically reduce the workload. So, so if you follow what I showed you now, this is for you to think about. In secret number 1, or how to wow your customers with early results even on straightforward projects. Do you think you could be successful? If you learn how to quantify any value in less than 5 minutes, do you think that'd be too much work to quantify? So you have we quantify typically the top 10, right? You don't need thousands of values. So top 10, each one, 5 minutes. Is that too much work? You know, and you can write this on one single page. Is that too much bureaucracy for you to really ensure that you succeed, that you understand the success values of your customers, your stakeholders? All right, so do you think you could be successful? Yes, no, right? And yeah, you're going in the train, Matthias. It's amazing. All right, 300 kilometers, looking at the live webinar from Norway. That's fantastic. Okay, so let me ask you guys, how many of you are excited about what we just talked about? Anyone? Yes, excited, or yes, you're going in the train, it's amazing. Yeah, either one, I guess, right? Now, some of you might feel a little overwhelmed, like, wow, you know, really going hard on these values and quantifications, and it's a little bit different than what we were doing back, and yeah, so you might be a little overwhelmed. Now, it's impossible for me, you know, in this presentation, I've done my best to really show you what's needed. But to really master this, to go further, I have a training class that I like to show you, to present to you. So who wants to learn about how to go excited, right? So who wants to learn how to learn more about this? Anyone wants to hear? I have a little offer to you it's kind of exciting. I put together a package that's not just the training class, it's some really cool stuff that will make you able to learn this and make you being the next Jens, the next Anders in your project. There are many people. I'm going to actually show you another case coming up or two. So you're excited. So is it okay? So what I'll do now, actually, for those of you who want, I'm going to show you what you can do to learn how to do this. So if you don't want to learn, if you're good, then thank you. Thank you for joining me. If you want to learn, stick on. I'm gonna present to you how you can learn how to do this. If you're on Twitter, you just logged in, you can go to this URL and you'll actually see the slides of the presentation, not just my pretty face. All right, so just go there and you'll see it there. Okay, so I hope I still have, we still have some guys. All right, so what we have is a 2-day master class. It's called Value First. And of course, we're going to learn everything that we just talked about. And I have one in Brooklyn, Amsterdam, 9th and 10th of April. So I have actually in several cities so that, you know, within a short flight, you should be able to come to one of these classes. We're holding one in London. There's several of you from the UK here. I really want you all to come to the London course, 24th and 25th of April. And we have one in Munich, and there's several of you from Germany. This course is for you. It's at 8th and 9th of May. So everybody from Germany, please come to the Munich course. We have in Vienna, 15th and 16th of May, and in Oslo, 21st and 22nd of May. So there should be, you know, a workshop close enough in your vicinity so that you can come and join. Now, what you will learn is, of course, everything we talked about, right? You're going to learn to master the art of understanding what your stakeholders really want, quantify it, and then what you need to prioritize up against it. So we're going to talk about why customers actually want your product. It might not be what you're currently thinking. What do they not want that you might think they want? We're going to talk about different types of requirements. We're going to talk about how to specify, not just talk, you're going to learn how to specify values, how to quantify any value, how to measure any value, what drives development cost high, what drives the value, the worth of your product really high, and on and on. There's many things that you need to get this together. And I'm gonna, we're gonna do lectures, we're gonna do workshops. So about half of the time you'll be doing workshops, and we'll be lecturing and interactive quizzes and cases, and we'll have discussions where we can sit down and deal with individual issues that you might have, all in a comfortable space. And I'm going to do these workshops myself. So I'm not sending somebody, I'm coming to do these workshops in all these places to make sure you get the top understanding of how to do it. Now, let me introduce you to Paul. Paul went to this class, and then he got a job at Bring Dialogue, and he called me in to help him out to start this project. And he said that the problem with them was that the system, so the system he had is a customer address database cleaning system. So if you have a customer database, you can send it to them and they will clean it, meaning they'll get rid of the old email, put in the new emails for people, new phone numbers, new addresses. When people move around and people die, they go out, etc. Right? So they will update your database and send it back to you all fresh and live. So, but the problem was that it was had an old code base and it was slow. And he was asked to reprogram it into a modern programming language. There were 3 guys before him that were fired. They didn't manage, right? And so he didn't want to be number 4. And he had to present a plan of this to the board within a month. So he had 30 days to come up with a plan. The requirement looked something like this, for him. Just reprogram the system that cleans the contact database into C++. And then, of course, nobody wants C++. Nobody wants, what do they want? What are the values? So we started looking at the value and asking him. I said, well, it's really slow. And they had competitors that were faster. So I said, well, how slow is it? And he said, it took 2 hours to clean. And of course, now we could have set the target to reduce that 2 hours to 1 hour or half an hour, or something like this, and probably be doing that and be seen as very successful. But we went further. We said, well, what happens before and after this system cleans? And it turned out there was, from the customer's point of view, there was a whole lot of processes to get the system, their database, into the cleaning system. And then after it was cleaned, to get it quality checked and out again and installed on their own computer systems. So I asked, well, how long time does this take? It took 40 hours. Well, who's responsible for reducing this time? And of course, nobody, because the computer system in the middle was seemed like the system. So everybody was trying, the 3 guys before him that had failed had been trying to, they haven't even tried systematically to reduce the time. They had done what they were asked to do, reprogramming it into C++. So I said, well, then if nobody's doing that, we have to do that. Otherwise, we're not going to be successful. Now, so this is the change that you have to do. You have to move from the solution, C++, reprogramming into C++, to the value, to the stakeholder value. All right? This is what leads you to success. So then we said, okay, let's do this. We set some target, 40 hours. We thought, okay, we could do this in 10 hours. So moving it from 40 hours to 10 hours. So then we drew some lines from July to December. But then, and then this is what really happened. So first of all, we decided not to plan, but to do immediately. So he had 30 days to plan, right? And then present the plan to the board. I said, planning is done. Planning is to reduce it from 40 hours to 10 hours. And then do anything and everything in that time frame to reduce it. So we said we can go home or we can do. And we started to do, or he started. I pulled away at this time. And he reported that actually when he went to the board, it was down to 36 hours. So already 4 hours faster before first meeting with the steering committee. And the steering committee was thrilled. And they're like, well, it's not really possible. It only takes 2 hours. And he's like, well, I expanded my view here. Okay, and then if anyone has ever worked with anyone from Norway in the summer, you know that nothing happens because we have so shitty winters that in the summer we just drop everything and go to our summer cabins. So nothing happened. But then September, 15 hours, 13 hours, 12 hours, and 8.5 hours. Now what happened with Paul? that he was not just seen as successful where everybody else had failed. He got promoted to be responsible for all projects. They wanted this to happen with all projects. Wow, it's like, how did you do this? So that's what you're going to learn on the Value First Masterclass. To do like Paul, to do like Jens, to do like Anders. So who is this class for? Well, it's for experienced project managers and new project managers. It doesn't really matter because, you know, if you have a lot of experience but you can't quantify portability of a product like that, then you need to come to the class. If you're working in small projects, 1, 2, 3 people, or large projects, then this is for you. It doesn't really matter, like I mentioned before, it is for whoever who wants to succeed in product development. So do you want to succeed? They're probably here still on this webinar because you want to succeed, so then this is basically for you. And of course, some of you, everybody, we have time issues. This is going to save you so much time on your first project, so just don't even think about it. So that's a Value First Masterclass. It's 2 days with me. It's 2,471 euro, but I'm going to give you a really great deal. All right, so just hang on. I'm going to show you a really great deal. But before that, I really want everybody to succeed. So I'm going to stack on some really good things to help you succeed. So the first thing is I'm going to give you my own personal hard-earned set of templates, process description, authoring rules, and policies. These you know, we have developed over many years, and when we walk into an organization helping them to switch to focusing on values, we have this in our sort of bag, and I'm gonna clean them up a little bit, and then you're gonna get this so you can just take them back to your organization and help you succeed right away. All right, I'm gonna skip some slides there. Okay, so what we have is, in addition to the Value First Masterclass, 2 days with me, you're gonna get my personal set of templates to help you get a flying start. It's a little bit hard to put a value on that. I probably sell it for, you know, it's worth thousands. I just put the value of 300, but it's worth thousands and thousands of euro really. But I'm gonna throw that into the package. So the total value is 2,800, and it says to millions because people are saving millions. I'm not gonna charge you millions, but people are reporting saving millions. So it's definitely worth millions. All right, now I thought, what else do you need? What I want to do is, I want to give you real examples to model from. Of course, we will show you case studies on the workshop, but we're going to do more of like workshops with your own project. So that you can see what other people and model from other people. I'm going to make video recordings of these cases that of different types of projects. So you can find, maybe you don't have to watch all of them. You find 1 or 2 that is the type of projects most similar to yours. And for fun, for instance, if you see this Luvat project here, you know, they were making toilets. So this is something else, right? So they're making waterless toilets for third world countries. And Tom and I, we started working with them, and we showed them how to define their values, how to quantify it, how to optimize all decisions. And we gave them some advice, like actually you have to go to Madagascar. They were sitting in London in their glass office and said, no, you need to understand the stakeholder and their values. So you need to start delivering value early. And so to understand what those values really are, you need to go to where these toilets will be. And their first place was Madagascar, so they went there, and now the fun thing here was Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They had an award for the best project like this for helping the stop of spreading of disease, but they had a prize of $100 million, right? So can you imagine all the people? You can just Google Luvat and $100 million or Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and you'll see they won it. Everybody, you can imagine everybody in the world wanted to win the $100 million. So they won the $100 million Do you think they were excited? They used our methods and they're very proud of that, and they quantified the values and they showed this to Melinda Gates Foundation, and they were just like, whoa, this is so clear what you want to do. This is so clear the values you're creating for these stakeholders, and it's so real because you've been there already and you know, done early deliveries to the stakeholders. So that's really cool. So what I'm going to do is, in addition to the masterclass, I'm going to give you my templates for a flying start, and I'm going to throw in this, going to sell for 500 euro, this cases that people can see, video course or presentations. I'm going to throw that in for inspiration. And I'm not done though. What else do you need to succeed? And if you remember Tom, when he read that book, that 100-year book of engineering ideas, now what he has done is he has created lots of principles for how to succeed in project management. These are in-depth, really wide wisdom, you know, wisdom put down into the form of principles. And then what we've done is we're creating a video series where we take one principle at a time, speak about that principle about 5 minutes, very short, and then we send it out to the guys who to subscribe to this, one every week. So they get like 5 minutes of inspiration, of deep wisdom. So I'm gonna throw that in to the package. It's usually 173 euro, but I want everybody to really have the depth to understand what they're doing and have that inspiration after the workshop. You keep getting these principles, keep getting little reminders, 5-minute reminders every week. It's really healthy. So in addition to the class, I'm going to throw in the templates for a flying start, the cases for inspiration, and these principles that usually sell for 173. You're not going to pay anything for them, for insights. And what else? Well, you know, like I said, I'm really going to pack on here. So what you need is to be able to look things up, but before and after the class. You know, you learn something, you want to look something up. So we have this EvoBook manuscript that's really easy to read, to describe, you know. So if you learn something about measurements and meters and you want to go back and look up how do you do that again, you have a reference point, a book where you should dive into. So in addition to the masterclass, the templates for a flying start, the cases for inspirations, the principles for insights, I'm going to throw in this 14 euro book for a reference. Again, you don't have to pay for it. So that brings the value up to 3,400. If you were to purchase these things individually, 3,487 euro. Now, this is really, now you're really set to succeed. But some of you are doing contracting. And what happens is, once you learn how to quantify the values, a lot of possibilities open up. And one of them is to do what we call no cure, no pay contracting. You can't really do no cure, no pay that is, you pay not for the hours if you're contracting or the solutions they're delivering. You're paying for the value they deliver you. But you can't do that if you're not quantifying the value. So most people only know how to pay, quantify the pay, so they can't really do this. But you can do this after you learn how to quantify the value. So what I'm going to throw in is this system of ready-made, I call them value first contract templates. They're legally correct for UK and US, and I'm going to explain how that works. In addition to you getting the contracts, I'm going to explain how that works in little videos where basically the idea is you build a foundation, a contract agreement of work, and then on top of that you build payment based on value delivery. All right, this is not for everybody. It's okay. I understand that, but it's for whoever is interested in contracting. This was developed by Susan. The contracts were developed by Susan Atkinson and Gabrielle Benefield together with Tom Gilb. So they're really, really nifty. All right, so you're going to get the Value First Masterclass, the templates for a flying start, the cases for inspirations, the principles for insight, the book for reference, and for those of you that need that, the contracts for outsourcing. That system with the video is going to sell for 1,000 euros. So that brings the value of that up to 4,487. And again, I'm not going to charge you anything like that. I'm going to give you the best deal ever. So I'm really excited about this. So, but think about that. It's all this did was enable you to deliver to your customers what they actually desire. What would this be worth, right? Would it be worth the 4,000 something for sure, right? That's peanuts. If all it did was enable you to deliver on time, under budget, would it be worth it? If all it did was enable you to get a clear, concise, agreed picture of what your customers, your stakeholders desire, would it be worth it to you? 2 days, 4,000, nothing, right? If it gave you the skill to write requirements without mixing in technical solutions, that's what I do a lot of work where I have to analyze requirements, and I see page after page of technical solutions disguised as requirements. That's a death sin. That's the worst thing you can have in there. If you could write requirements without any technical ideas, would it be worth it to you? So I had two choices. I could go cheap, give you as little as possible and sort of get a lot of sales. I wanted to give you maximum, enable you to succeed with this, not just give you a class and run away, but give you the maximum support I could to enable you to succeed. So, yeah, so I went with that option. So what you have to consider is, what is it worth to you to succeed? To be like Jens, to be like Anders, to be like Paul, to succeed in projects systematically again and again. If that's worthy to you, then come to the workshop. If you don't really care, don't come, okay? It's that simple. If it's worth to you, don't muck around. I mean, use opportunity. Don't have wasted this hour on the webinar and looking at little blogs. Go and learn how to do this properly. It should be worth it to you. Think about how much it costs to fail, to deliver late, and what it would be worth to you to widely succeed. All these guys are promoted. Anders, he got this killer job with requirements at Statoil, the Norwegian oil company. They just changed their name. Jens, he has another job, fantastic job. I mean, these guys all get promoted, and they're just the three cases I threw out now. Remember the Luwot guys? I mean, they got 100 million euro or dollar. I think it was $100. $100 million. I mean, that's a lot of money. And they got that specifically because they were so clear on their value, and their project was so killer, that everybody else, and there were hundreds of other people trying to win believe me, there are many people trying to get the hold of that money. They won because they had this skill, and I want you to have that skill. Okay, so I guess you can see, like I said, with Tom and I have been mainly working with these larger companies inside, and they've been paying us well. We're happy. We're happy if you come to the course or not, but I'm way more happy if you come to the course, because I'm on the quest now to make this, spread this to the whole community, so everybody should be able to succeed in their projects, not struggle and struggle. So I hope you can see that it would be a really good offer if you had to pay 4,487, right? Which you would if you had to buy them all individually. If you go to our website now and book one of the classes, the price is like I said, 2,000 for something, I forget. But because I really want to fill up the seats, I'm doing it sort of Ryanair style. I want everybody to come. No excuses for nobody. I'm gonna Ryanair style, meaning I'm gonna give it cheaper to you guys, and then as it fills up, and it's actually starting to fill up already, so I'm gonna start increasing the price in London. Then I'm gonna give this for everybody that are here for 1,681 euro only, right? So this is in Brooklyn in Amsterdam, London, Munich, Vienna, Oslo. So, you can just come. There are some Norwegian and pound prices. They should be equivalent. So that's the price. Now you have two choices. You can do nothing, which is risk-free, or you can, you know, dive in. And I think you'd be really sad if you didn't. This is a fantastic opportunity. The value is fantastic. The price is nothing, and you know. But of course, if you do option number one, you have no risk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy your risk. So I'm going to give you 100% money back guarantee. So if you come to the workshop, that's what you have to do to get your money back. You have to come to the workshop, and if you can not, you know, if you don't learn these things, if you don't learn how to quantify the values and succeed in projects, I'll refund you everything, including your lunch. So you get a free lunch, 2 free lunches, right? So it's really easy, really simple. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain, and you can really gain not just a little bit. There's not like a little, you learn a little technique. You're gonna go way, you know, way enhance your ability to deliver value in projects and succeeding in projects. So the real question is it worth learning how to put value first? Worst case, you get a free lunch. If it only works half as good as I'm claiming, it's gonna pay back 10 times. So I'm gonna get the Value First Masterclass 2 days with me. Normally sells for $2,471. I'm gonna reduce that price to $1,600, I forget something. And I'm gonna give you my templates worth 300, cases 500 for inspiration, principles for insights, books for reference, the no cure, no pay contracting. Throw it all in there. If you purchase now, if you go to them, I'm actually gonna refresh something on the website so you get a little order details, show, save. There's some chat going on. If you were to refresh your browser, you'll actually get some deals, but then you have to start the video again. You get the links to purchase. But if you go to if you use a credit card, you need to put webinar. And if you like, you can just order by email. But there's more though. I'm going to show you something more. What I like to I want to give you, because some of you are a little glue, like you don't actually ever do anything. So I'm going to unglue you a little bit. So to make it really easy to get you to sign up a little faster, so to say, only available for the guys on the webinar, only available until Friday night at midnight. I'm going to give everybody who signs up within that time 1 hour Skype follow-up call with me or Tom Gilb after the workshop. This works like after the workshop, you're all excited. Everybody in my class are always really excited. They go back to their company, and of course there's a culture, there's challenges. So then it's really good to have Tom and me to support you there. We can do Skype call. We can even do an online presentation for your group so they all get bought into these ideas. Really help you out, because we have done this many times before. We can help you solve many of the issues that you might have. So in addition to the masterclass, you're going to give you templates for flying start, the cases for inspirations, the principle series for insights, the book to help you so you have a reference, the no cure, no pay contracting system, and you're going to get the 1 hour Skype follow-up call. We normally sell that for €700 or so. But you're going to get that all included in the deal. Now, what you can do is you just email me at kai@gilb.com and say, I want to be on this workshop. That's all. That's all you need to do. So it's really simple. You can also go to the website, go to one of the classes, and make sure you put webinar into the link, and then you get this discount. Otherwise, you have to pay the full price. So make sure you put in the webinar. I am done. Thank you, guys. Now, if you need a little more time to get approval from your company, what I suggest you do is you just email me, say you want to be on the class. you might want to say a little note that I need still to get approval for my company. And then if you don't get the approval, you should quit your job. No, just kidding. Then I'll take you off the course. Just let me know as soon as you know. All right. So yeah. So just sign up. Make sure you do it before the Friday. The whole offer will go down on Monday night, but this Skype inclusion of the Skype is available until Friday night. All right. Do you accept invoice? Yeah, exactly. So thank you. Yeah, so you can just email me and I'll then send you company an invoice. Well, I'll help you. We'll sort everything out, right? So that's what most people do. Some people sign up with a credit card, but 80% of the people send me an email saying I want to be part of the class, and then we just email each other and we set up the invoice. So you can pay by invoice or bank transfer. Thank you, Matthias, for clearing that off. Regarding Tomac, database, cleaning, cost of delay. Yeah, Munich. Mark in my calendars. There's some... If I'm on the text now, so if somebody wants to text me something, actually you could even call me, right? So you all have my number, I think, laying around here and there. I try to have it everywhere, but let me. Actually, I'll type it into the text here, of course. Oh, I'm in the wrong place here. 9 plus 47. 911 92303. So anybody have any questions right now? You can just call me, you can email me, and you can chat me up. Vienna, Oslo. Will it be in England? Yeah, London. Is it not on there? London, 24th and 25th of April. That's a course. We have already many people signed up in London. There are still a few spaces. So you can come to London still. Thank you, guys. I'm so happy you all came. Really appreciate your time. Fantastic. I guess I'm gonna... is this still live? Yeah, I'm gonna turn off the... if you're on Twitter and you didn't go to the webinar room, thank you so much. Ciao. So I'm gonna go there. I'm still here. Okay, thanks. Hey, Tomac, for your time. Did you have a question earlier, Tomac? I mean, language or word? Language will be English, and I speak Norwegian also, but mainly it'll be. In Norway, if everybody only speaks Norwegian, I'll do it in Norwegian. But if we have one or more English-speaking people, it'll be in English. Sure, Tomac. Tomek. Hey, that's good. I'm still on here. I'll stick around for chat, and anyone wants to call? I'm guessing you just email me, right? Yeah, we got some emails.